Good afternoon. I do not do rules seminars for a living. I'm a salesman by trade, but I've been to enough seminars to know that there must be rules. Because every seminar I've ever been to, the presenter started with a story. So, being a rules guy, I'm not going to break the rules. I'm going to start with a story. It's been said that rules can help the player, and I know firsthand that's true. In a former life, I gambled a bit at this game, and I remember once we had an 18-hole match, my partner and I against two other fellas, and we came to the 18th hole all even. Our opponents were in 4. It was a par 4. They were in 4. My partner was in his pocket, as he normally was that day. And I had an 8-foot putt straight up the hill for birdie to win the match. Well, I got over the putt, and I putted it, and I left it 4 inches short. And I walked up very casually, stood over the ball, and putted it across the hole, over and back of the fringe, down into the driving range. And the opponent, of course, said, "Duffy, we said, remember, no gimmies, no automatic concessions." I said, "You're right, I'm sorry, my fault." I said, "There goes that $50, you won that?" And my partner's ready to kill me, you know. I said, "You're right, that's 100% my fault, you're correct." So I started back towards get the ball, and I said, "By the way," I said, "give me a chance of my money back. I'll bet you 100 I make 6 on the hole." He says, "Well, you're 4 now." I said, "I got a great flop shot." My partner's going, "You're in rough, the green is like this, I got a flop shot, I got it. The guy says 6, I'll bet you 200 you can't make 6 on the hole." So I went down, and sure enough, there my ball was, the bottom of the hill, in the 6 inches of rough, you know, and I got my 60-degree wedge, and I get over the ball, and then I pick it up. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm declaring this ball unplayable." He says, "Well, you're 5 now." I said, "Yeah," and I walked back, and I put the ball right about 4 inches from the hole, and I said, "Of course, you realize that one of my options under the unplayable lie rule is to pre-play the shot." So I put it down, and I said, "Is that about where it was?" And he runs to the pro shop as I'm steadying myself over the 4-incher, and he runs to the pro shop. My partner says, "Aren't you going to go in?" And I said, "Nah, I only go in on the hard ones." So rules can help the player. He paid up, by the way. But I know all the things that have been said about the rules. A fellow said a few things. Dumb was one of them. Stupid, complex, inconsistent, subjective. Yeah, I know them all. I'll give the naysayers complex. That's the only one I'm going to give them. Because they are complex, and they should be. Look at all those other sports. They all have a common field, a football field. It's 100 yards. Baseball diamond, seen one, seen them all. Bowling alley, tennis court. They are what they are. How about golf? Oh, no. We got 160 acres of topography. You know what we have? We have one thing. The hole must be 4¼ inches in circumference. That's it. Other than that, go build yourself a golf course. And there's 150 balls in play. You know, those other sports got 1 ball. We got 150 of them going on 160 acres of land. Yeah, it's complex. And we have stroke play and match play and partners and caddies involved in the middle of this thing. And so we need complex rules to take care of these things. You know, another point, you know, golf is the only sport where players are obligated to call penalties on themselves. I said that at a club near Annapolis, Maryland, and a fellow yelled from the back, "No, sailing." So I said, like I said, golf is the only sport where you have to call penalties on yourself. I don't read much from this, but there's really only 2 rules. First of all, this is a rule book. No one's seen, no. This is a rule book. There's 34 rules, and then there's this big book. For you lawyers in the room, this is the rules. This is the case law. This is the interpretation of the rules. But there's only 2 real rules, really. I'll read them. I don't read much from this, but I'll read rule 1-1. I guess that's important. It's 1-1, you know. And it says, the game of golf consists of playing a ball with a club from the teeing ground into a hole by a stroke or successive strokes in accordance with the rules. Well, that's very straightforward. The second rule of note, and as I say, there's really only 2. The second rule is 13, and it says, the ball must be played as it lies, except as otherwise provided in the rules. Thank you all for coming.